Hey folks, Blair Shackley from Nose Creek Sport Physiotherapy, where we get you moving faster and feeling better. Well, today's topic of the day is shoe fitting and screening for a great shoe. It's very important to have really good supportive shoes underneath your feet. So there are hundreds and hundreds of shoes out there, and people always ask me, what's the right shoe for me? Well, the choice is really depending on the individual, because it's based on the size of our feet, the shape of our feet, and also the way we move with our feet. So a couple little tips I'd like to share with you. Number one is when you're purchasing a shoe, it's better to try the shoe on at the end of the day when you have a little bit more swelling in your foot from the day, at the end of the day. Number two is shoe size. Make sure you don't assume that you know your size, because every single shoe company has a slightly different size of shoe. So be open-minded to try a few different sizes and size up or down to make sure you got that space between the end of your toe and the end of your shoe. A lot of people tend to buy what I call undersized shoes, and they come in the office and they're complaining of toe pain because their toe is hitting the end of their shoe. Another thing is shoe type. So, there's neutral, there's motion control, there's stability shoes. The majority of people will probably fall into what we call a neutral type shoe. People that need motion control shoes are often people that are prone to injury and they're prone to foot pain. And if you are one of those people, you may even consider getting a customized orthotic and seeking help from a physiotherapist that specializes in feet and orthotics like we do. And the orthotic itself will last 2 years, whereas the shoe generally will only last about 6 months. So the orthotic will actually reduce the wear and tear on your shoe and make your shoe potentially last a bit longer as well. The last one is style. So when you go to a shoe store, it's really important to go to a high quality shoe store where there's a wide selection of shoes. So in Calgary, the ones I typically recommend are the Running Room, Gord's Running Store, Soul to Soul, or the Foot Care Center, or the Foot Health Center rather. I think they've moved to Dalhousie recently. So those four stores we highly recommend, because they all are involved in making orthotics as well. So a lot of the shoes they bring in are what we call deep dish shoes that are high stability, high quality shoes, versus say maybe going to the Bay and they just ask you what color, what size, next. They don't even kind of look at your fitting at all. And then the other thing is to put the shoe on and take it for a spin. Like, it's very important that you try it out and either walk or run with it. See if there's a corridor or a place you can run. The other test I like to do is to figure eight. So just kind of run or walk into figure eight. Find out what shoe basically gives you the most traction and the most stability, that really feels like it conforms to your foot. When you're walking and running, here's a couple things I want you to consider and sort of feel with the shoe, because feeling is really the most important thing. Does the shoe grip, or is it sliding on the back of your heel? If it's sliding, it's probably too big, and you probably got, you're going to end up with a blister if there's sliding, because you have friction there. Be aware of, the molding. Like, does it shape your foot? Also be aware of the side of the shoe. Does the side of the shoe, the way it's cut, does it irritate your shoe? Or does it irritate your foot rather, or does it make your foot feel comfortable? And the last one is the flex of the shoe. As you kind of roll and you're walking with the shoe, does it actually feel like it kind of helps you push off and gives you a nice support? So those are things you want to feel for. And the last one is what I call my physical form mechanical test, and I call this the STAR test. So STAR stands for squish, twist, alignment, and roll. So that's how you can remember that. And we're going to go over each one. So basically, squish, the first thing you're going to do when you do a squish test is you're going to take the shoe and you're going to squish it from front to back. Okay, and it should bend in the knuckle joint here of the shoe. It should not bend in the midsole of your shoe. So if you're pushing there and it goes beyond that and starts to bend through here, you're going to end up with plantar fasciitis. So that's not a good shoe. That's too soft of a shoe. The next one is twist. So you take the shoe and physically twist it, almost like you're wringing out a wet cloth. Now, there should be some torsional resistance to that shoe. If there's no torsional resistance, you have too soft of a shoe, so that shoe fails. The next one is alignment. So you're going to put the shoe on the counter, and you're going to make sure that when it's flat on the counter, that the back of the heel support is basically perpendicular or at a 90-degree angle to the table or the counter. When they manufacture and sew these shoes together, sometimes they get tilted and sewn a bit crooked, so just make sure it's nice and straight. The last one is the roll. So when you take the shoe, physically push on it with your fingertip. When you push down, there should be a nice natural roll of the shoe coming off the table. If you push down and there's no roll, again, that's too flat of a shoe and it's too soft of a shoe. It's not going to support you and help prevent you from having foot pain and just increase your walking ability and running distance. So there's some great tips that I've shared with you today to basically make you find the shoe that really works well for you to help you perform when you're walking and running. All right, so again, my name is Blair Schachterly on behalf of Nose Creek Sport Physiotherapy, where we get you moving faster and feeling better. Take care, folks. Till next time. Bye-bye.